Last time out in the Motorsport New Circuit Rally Championship, competitors took to Donington for 7 stages in tough conditions. Chris West looked to maintain a perfect score in the D1 class and step closer to a back-to-back title. But he had father and son Guy and Patrick Smith to contend with. The Smiths would ultimately prevail, with Guy taking the overall victory, but Chris kept himself in the hunt, meaning he can seal the title in Wales.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 7. The Tilemaster Lee Holland stage is here at Anglesey Circuit. Today is organised by Pendle District, Garstang and Preston Motor Clubs, and there is a fantastic entry. Could this be the weekend where Chris West and Keith Hounslow retain their championship title? There are so many people here today to challenge him for that podium. Paul, talk us through those entries.
Thank you, Sam. Starting with Class A, Dale Lawson and Craig Aston are right in the midst of an exciting Drivers' Championship battle, but don't count out Adam Ripper either. Similarly, Adam Lawson and Nick Baker are neck and neck for the co-driver honours. In Class B, 2017 champion Ian Woodhouse returns, albeit in an unfamiliar vehicle, as he steps in to try and help out Bruce Lindsay capture the title. They'll need to watch out for Jamie McTavish and Ashley Morris, who've been quietly and consistently scoring good points and could steal the championship in the final rounds. The story of Class C in recent rounds has been the dominant form of Joshua and Tamsin Davey, whose Darian has been absolutely flying. The Drivers' Championship fight, though, is a 3-way battle between Connolly, Stewart and English, so all will be looking to score well here. Chris West and Keith Hounslow have been conquering all before them this season. Chris leads both the overall and D1 class of the championship and Michelin Cup, while Keith is in a battle with Jack Tilburn for co-driver honours. Tilburn, Taylor and Carianti are locked in a fight for second place in the championship for class and overall. Guy and Peter Smith return for this round, as does single-seater ace Frank Bird, tackling his second ever rally. Frank was in the south of France for the previous 2 days, taking part in a Formula Renault test. What a change this will be. Nigel Mummery leads the D2 Championship, just 6 points separate first to fourth place in that battle. There are 2 splits and 1 merge for drivers and co-drivers to navigate through in stages 1 and 2, and a mixture of circuit, access roads and a loose section 2, not to mention a reasonably big jump that my coccyx remembers from last year. With such a mix, is it possible to know who will prevail? Let's see. Guy Smith and Steve McNulty are fastest out of the traps in their Ford Fiesta R5. It's just the 3rd appearance of Guy in this season's championship, but he's been rapid in each event. Let's see what it looks like from on board with Guy and Steve. Just a few seconds behind Guy's father Peter, once again driving with John Millington in their Ford Fiesta WRC. Let's also join Peter for a driver's eye view as he passes some of the buildings from when the site was an RAF radar station. True story. 3rd overall and quickest of the D1 entrants was Chris West and Keith Hounslow. Chris just needs a sensible finish this weekend to take the championship title. But it hasn't been in his nature so far this season, and no doubt he will want to win overall this weekend. It's great to also have Rob Hughes and Sean Cunliffe back in the championship as well in their Ford Fiesta. With Sean living just a few minutes away from the venue, he'll be aiming for a strong finish in his backyard, and the pair finished the stage 4th quickest. 5th overall and quickest in Class C are Joshua and Tamsin Davey. Now that the Darren is seemingly on song, the pair are looking very strong. Once again, close to the overall podium places. Also on good form are Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett, and they would end stage 1 4th quickest of the D2 entrants. Equal on time with Nigel and Fiona were Class D1 duo Will and Leon Owen with their Mark II Ford Escort. Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman were due to carry live streaming footage to fans this weekend, and with a rapid performance which left them within touching distance of Chris West and Keith Hounslow. Unfortunately, a slight clip of the tyres coming into the flying finish put the pair out of the event after the opening stage of the day. It would prove to be a rally of attrition. Mike Bayliss and Gawain Clark also succumbing after stage 1. Blair Thompson and Shannon Wilson also hit trouble with a radiator leak, and Ray Reid and Stuart Anderson Peters were also among the casualties.
So Mark, you very kindly, your company Tilemaster Adhesives are sponsoring this event today. We've been really looking forward to having you back. Unfortunately, it's not gone quite so well this morning, has it?
No, not as we planned, to be fair. The stage was pretty clean up until the flying finish, where I've just come in, and they've kept us in a bit narrower than usual, and I've not even seen just a bank of tyres. Because I had a slight lock on, my front wheels caught it and then just pushed everything back. So unfortunately it was an early bath for us, as they say.
Yeah. So what has it done then? Just talk us through the damage that unfortunately you've got now.
Well, mechanically I'm hopeless. So I know it's all connected to kind of the steering arm. A bit of damage on the hub, which is neither here nor there. But unfortunately the parts that it's damaged we haven't got with us. We just don't carry spares for the particular part, so if there was a way of getting back out, would have been back out, but it just wasn't possible, unfortunately.
Thank you, Sam, for that interview in the paddock. On to stage 2, Guy Smith and Steve McNulty are leading both overall and Class D2, now with a 7-second advantage at the top of the times. Still, just a few seconds behind Guy and Steve were Peter Smith and John Millington, making the most of the early spring sunshine. Third in Class D2 were Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett with some tail sliding action. Let's join the pair on board. After a stage 1 spin for Frank Bird and Jack Morton, they were shooting up the order, recording fastest time of anybody on stage 2 and up to 5th in class. One place behind were Darren Meadows and James Squires in their Mitsubishi Evo 4. A little further behind in the first of the Williams cars was 7th in Class D2 Greg Williams and Jonathan Kennedy in their Subaru Impreza. Andrew Hume and Tommy Meadows were up next in another Impreza. The two Shawns, Cassidy and Devlin, sat 9th in class with their Ford Fiesta R5, and just behind them was the second Williams car, this one of Adam Williams and Rachel Atherton. The attrition rate continued, Sean Jones and Gethin Williams suffering this failure in their Citroen Saxo just before Williams and Atherton arrived at the scene. Another North Wales local, Jay Pavley, was back in the championship for the first time since Oulton Park, with Catherine Jones co-driving the pair 11th in Class D2 after 2 stages. Leading Class D1, Chris West and Keith Hounslow remained in prime position for a championship title. Continuing to open up a gap in Class C1 with Joshua and Tamsin Davey in their Darien T90. Leading Class B and 20th overall were Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler. Showing supreme car control and leading Class A were Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock in their Vauxhall Corsa. Yes! There would be further retirements. Philip Ball and Adam Cooper would retire after this stage in their Ford Escort. as would Robert Power and Luke Simpson, again in a Ford Escort. After 2 stages, this is how it looked in Class A. Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock in their backwards Vauxhall Corsa, 40 seconds ahead of Dale and Andrew Lawson in their MGZR. Craig Aston and Nick Baker in their Toyota Yaris, just keeping in touch for the podium position in 3rd place. Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler in their Ford Escort Mark II were 31 seconds ahead of Ian Woodhouse and Bruce Lindsay in that trusty MX-5. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish keeping in touch in their Ford Fiesta. Class C, and it was Joshua and Tamsin Davey, as usual lately, in their Darien T90, 29 seconds ahead of the first Ford Escort Mark II of Eric Roberts and Murphy Williams, and then a million Ford Escorts following in that class. Chris West and Keith Hounslow were heading up D1 in the Peugeot 306 Maxi kit car, and then we had Seamus Morris and Aidan Campbell chasing at the tail in the Darien GTR. Class D2, and it's Guy Smith and Steve McNulty in their Ford Fiesta R5 leading the way only by 7 seconds to his father Peter, and John Millington in their WRC Ford Focus. Overall, it looks like this. 8 cars covered by 35 seconds and 3 classes represented. Guy Smith and Steve McNulty lead the way, Peter Smith and John Millington hot on their heels, but Chris West and Keith Hounslow are still there in the 306 Maxi kit car. Let's catch you with Sam in the paddock.
So not the best of starts, unfortunately, for you today. Just talk us through what has happened.
Basically, so we put a second-hand radiator in after Brands Hatch, and it's obviously out on track today. It's just split. Whether it happened on a bump, I'm not sure, but it's just causing a little bit of leak on the front. So rather than risk the engine or anything else, I'd rather save the car and then get to Cadwell in a few weeks' time. So yeah, it's a great car ever since I've got it, and it's been running well all season. And then we've got all the tyre setups and stuff now correct. So it's just getting at it at Cadwell. Hopefully I'll have a good run at Cadwell to end the season, and then start prepping for the start of the next one. Definitely, yeah. And hopefully I get a full season, and the Army's not going to send me away again all the time. So yeah.
Right, there we go, Army. If we're listening, can we not send this man away because he's wanting to do next season with us?
Cheers, Sam. Stages 3 and 4 will be slightly longer at 6.1 miles. Competitors will be taking the shortened section around the old radar station, but they'll be able to use more of the circuit, completing 3 laps in total. The finish is in the same place though, where the cars will be flying across the line just behind the circuit office. The elevation means it's very exposed and rain's forecast, so there'll be plenty of action ahead.
We are now on stage 3 of round 7 of the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship. Paul, what's it like out there?
Thanks, Sam. Captain Commitment Chris West once again was the man on the move as he heads up the D1 runners, flying over that yump. The boy is on it. He's even taken a dive up the inside to overtake. He could definitely run right in the BTCC for me, he could. Also flying were local racers Will and Leon Owen in their Mega Ford Escort. They've got that thing dancing around the stage as they hold 2nd in class and 5th overall. In one of the 3 Darians out in the event are Jeff Roberts and Terry Martin as they put on a good show to run 3rd in class. Next up is the always spectacular Stephen and Jack Tilburn in their red and white Ford Escort Mark II. They love flinging that thing around, and hopefully it will handle just as well when the rain arrives. It's 4th in class for them. Kiro Carianti and Simon Coates have been consistent runners all year. Their colourful Porsche Cayman is running well here at Anglesey. Running 6th on the road is the Ford Escort of another local entry for Berwyn and Mary Evans, although their run will be halted on stage 4 after an accident. Mark Smith and Tim Nunn showed some good early pace in the SBD prepared Ford Escort and would run as high as 8th overall in the afternoon before retiring on the final stage. Mike Taylor and Martin Haggart find themselves unusually down in 8th in Class D1 at this stage, though they're only 4th of the championship point scorers. Looking great on the stage is the Mini Cooper S of Thomas Delaney and Bryn Moore Pierce, 9th in class after 3 stages, but still with plenty of time to make up ground later on. David Allmark and Robert Williams were a little further back, rounding out the top 10 D1. The BMW compact of Cliff Evans and Lauren Groves was easy to pick out of the increasing gloom, running consistently within touching distance of the main D1 pack. Continuing to lead the way are Guy Smith and Steve McNulty. The car looks on song and Guy and Steve are performing well. Class C leaders and an impressive 6th overall are Joshua and Tamsin Davey, sliding that Darien around despite the tricky changeable conditions. Slipping and sliding in Class B, Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler have a good advantage at the top of those times in their Ford Escort. Rounding off the class leaders, Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock have a big lead after just 3 stages in Class A. Sadly, the rate of attrition continues and we would lose Peter Smith and John Millington after this stage. So let's take one last look on board and ride with the pair. We would lose another Ford Fiesta as well, Sean Cassidy and Sean Devlin pulling off the stage mid-run. There was plenty of action for the hardy spectators who braved the weather to come and watch a full day of rally entertainment with overtaking moves and spins, whilst Gareth Hughes and David Anderson coasted to a halt but gamely battled and returned to the event for stage 7. Things were even heating up in the pit lane. Philip Ball and Adam Cooper's Ford Escort suffered an engine fire. Everyone was quite alright as you can see, but the car would take no further part in proceedings. Lovely to see Mark Fowler jumping out of his own car, checking on the pair as well there. Let's join Sam for some more interviews in the paddock.
Ryan, your class in particular is really, really exciting. You, Kathy and Mike are having an awesome battle. Who's coming out on top today?
Mike is going really, really well. Kathy was going well as well this morning. We're now ahead of her, bless her. I think she had a spin on stage 3, tyre change or whatever it was, but now it's raining, so we got obviously a change of conditions. But yeah, no, we're 16th overall, 5th in class overall in the rally, 3rd for the championship, because obviously we've got Josh and Tamsin in the Darien as well. So there's Mike and then there's me. So for the championship, it's really good for me because I'm ahead of Kathy. So yeah, no, it's really good. It's really exciting, and obviously Kathy's starting right behind us. So she's seeded car 33. So yeah, it's been brilliant all day. So yeah, but the race performance Puma, she's doing a job. So yeah, it's really good, really good.
Yeah. So we are here with Steve and Jack Tilburn. How are you finding it out there?
Yeah, it's really tricky because it's a new venue to us, so we don't know where we're going. We need as much turn, as much grip as we can, and so far for us it's gone the right way, but the rain gods are here again. The sun could come out and before you know where you are, you could have the wrong tyre on again for the next stage, couldn't you?
Considering it's your first time here, Jack, there's quite a lot for you to do, isn't there, as well? I mean, there was 8 splits on stages 3 and 4. How are you finding that?
Well, normally I like to keep my head up just to have a look at where we're going, but this time it's all about feeling where the car's going because I'm so busy looking at the maps. The minute I look up, I've already lost where I'm going, so it's really a test for navigators here and actually have to seriously knuckle down and make sure I'm concentrating on the maps.
Thanks, Sam. I don't know how them boys and girls aren't sick. That's horrendous. The rain is teeming down here and it's just another challenge for the competitors. How will they fare on stage 4? Well, flying out the traps, it's Guy Smith and Steve McNulty, and they remain the duo to beat, further opening up their lead in both D2 and overall. Chris West and Keith Hounslow remained on course for a second championship title, leading the way in Class D1 and second overall. Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler splashed their way to further Class B success, whilst the same was true for Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock in Class A. Joshua and Tamsin Davey remained quickest in Class C, but they were pushed hard by Eric Roberts and Murphy Williams in their Ford Escort. Mike English and Andy Robinson were third in Class C, second of the championship entrants. Matt Pearce and Jez Rogers were fourth in another Escort. Let's ride on board. And two different views from Ryan Connolly and Chris Allen, fifth in Class C, but more importantly, third of the point scorers and ahead of their championship rivals. Amazing onboards here. We're riding on the tarmac. Sadly, Jeff Roberts and Terry Martin would retire after this stage in one of the Darians entered today, as would North Wales's Jade Pavley and Catherine Jones, who would take no further part after this stage.
So we are here with Frank Bird and Jack Morton. Guys, you are having an unbelievable day. You've just taken 15 seconds out of Chris West. You've definitely got to grips with the car now, right?
Well, I think so, yeah. The first stage didn't really go to plan. We had a little incident, let's say, and I stalled it, just trying to get it back onto the stage. But since then, it's been going really well, won every stage since, and let's keep going.
Still the quickest bird?
Yeah, definitely. Good job that his dad's walked away now, but still speed to come from him, so it's all very good so far.
So we are here with Ciro Caminante and Simon Coates. Guys, how's it going for you today?
Okay. We had a good morning session, first two stages. That was great, fantastic. Then it rained, and it hasn't gone well after that. But you know, we're happy that it might dry up. We've got some wet tyres, which we've never tried before, which is always good. Yeah. I was trying not to use them, but it's like I've got to. And we're trying to hold on, so we're clinging on to our position that we built up in the morning. We've lost a lot of time to cars behind us that are caught us. They're just right behind us now, so we can't really afford any more. We've just got to keep going.
Thanks, Sam. Here's how things look after 4 stages in Class A. Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock lead the way by just over a minute from championship regulars Dale and Andrew Lawson. They're importantly ahead of the Toyota Yaris of Craig Aston and Nick Baker and the Nissan Micra of Adam and Ray Ripper. In Class B, it's a small but select group of runners headed by Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler in their Ford Escort Mark II. Ian Woodhouse is definitely getting comfortable in that Paul Sheard Run MX-5, scoring maximum points for Bruce Lindsay's co-driver championship aspirations. Joshua and Tamsin Davey are two names we have consistently seen at the top of Class C timesheets recently, but they have got a squad of Mark II Escorts behind them. Ryan Connolly and Chris Allen are importantly in front of Kathy Seward and Colin Stevens as those championship battles go down to the wire. Talking of familiar names at the top of the timesheet, it's Chris West and Keith Hounslow who lead the way in Class D1 with a 45-second lead over local entrants Will and Leon Owen. With Peter Smith retiring before the start of Stage 4, it means Frank Bird and Jack Morton move up into second place in the D2 class in their Ford Focus WRC, and they've consistently set quicker stage times since their early spin. Overall, it's Guy Smith and Steve McNulty at the head of the field, with Chris West and Keith Hounslow in second place. Frank Bird is just 6 seconds behind the Peugeot, and it will be looking to move ahead in the afternoon. Joshua and Tamsin Davey are impressively fifth, with Stephen and Jack Tilburn rounding out the top 8 cars. We're on stages 5 and 6 of the day. We have new start and finish positions and further challenges with a large number of splits and merges. Both drivers and co-drivers will have to keep their minds focused for these stages. There was drama early in stage 5 involving leader Guy Smith, as we see on board.
Sean doesn't look so brilliant, but at least you're both out the car and you're both okay. Yeah. Just tell us what's just happened.
We were on stage 5 then, and we just restarted the rally, and because we had a small incident on the grass. We went out on that one. We were having a really good time. We came down into the braking zone to turn onto a 1 left, and we were just hit from behind, and we didn't know what had happened or nothing. The car instantly stopped. Rob couldn't get out of the car, so I had to help Rob out. But no, I'm just getting a bit getting more stiffer as the time goes on, really.
Yeah. We come over the crest and we were slowing down into the 90 left through a gate, so we were coming down the box, and we'd already turned left, and then the impact was just like unexpected, obviously,
Yeah.
but it was quite a big impact. So yeah, we'll wait for it to come back at the end of the day, and we'll have a good look at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not what we were hoping to see this today, guys.
My
But
local round as well, so I'm only 6 minutes away up the road, and we normally do really well here. We were 4th overall this morning. Had the small incident, obviously we went out on the wrong tyre after the delay, and it's just one of them really. It's gutting. It is really gutting.
Savage impact caught by our cameras, but thankfully, despite some sore bodies and damaged cars, everyone was okay. After a stoppage, the action resumed. Continuing to run down the Class C cars, 6th in class were Jason Wilson and Pete Fenner in their Honda Civic. Down in 7th, but more importantly, 4th of the championship point scorers were Kathy Stewart and Colin Stevens, slowed only slightly by an open door which Kathy expertly closed. Well in. 8th in Class C were Nigel Greensall and James Proudfoot, now with a handle on their GT86 and getting to grips with the demands of this highly competitive championship. One of the several pull-sheared cars was 9th in Class C. Steve Dolman and Toby Marshall enjoying a relatively incident-free run this time out. David Orritt and Thomas Parks rounded out the top 10 in class with one of many Ford Escorts on show during the event. John Carroll and Martin Young, championship regulars, were just outside the top 10 in class with their Honda Civic. The distinctive Peugeot 306 Maxi of Ryan Enyon and Thomas Pinnington was up next, sounding and looking good around Anglesey all day long. Sadly, Chris Berry and Heather Merrison lost time after having to change a wheel on the stage, but they were still in with a chance of a top 10 class finish if they could recover for the final stages. A wild handbrake turn for Lee Jones and Lewis Griffiths, who were enjoying their afternoon after falling well down the order due to missing 2 of the morning stages. Their times are right up there with the quickest in class, leaving them thinking what might have been. A spin for Craig and Marcus Kennedy, sadly, but the pair would retire after this stage. Really getting into the swing of this rally lark, Frank Bird was having a great run with Jack Morton assuming the lead of the rally as Guy Smith and Steve McNulty retired after that earlier contact. Splashing through the puddles, Chris West and Keith Hounslow remained well in command of Class D1 and now would take over 2nd overall. Also well in charge of their class, Joshua and Tamsin Davey looked comfortable in their Darien. Flinging their Escort around, Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler led Class B, while Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock also remained leaders in Class A. They love a handbrake, don't they? Straight on to stage 6, and Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler remain fastest in Class B, even having time for some extra fishtailing action. Wonder if they knew our cameraman was there. In 2nd place, but more importantly scoring maximum points for the co-driver championship, were Ian Woodhouse and Bruce Lindsay. Hot on their heels, 3rd in Class B were Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish. Just behind and with some admirers by the start line were Lee Pratt and Martin Pendlebury. They were 4th with their very green Honda Civic. A little further back and rounding off the Class B runners were Daniel Nifton and Kieran Bartlett. Moving on to Class A, and after 6 stages, Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock are looking unassailable in their indecently quick Vauxhall Corsa. Second in class, but fastest of the championship hopefuls, Craig Aston and Nick Baker had a 13-second lead over rivals Adam and Ray Ripper. Here are Adam and Ray hustling that little Nissan Micra around the venue. Robert Jones and Tony Archer were 4th in Class A in their Ford Fiesta. Almost taking the wrong side of the marker cones, 5th in class were Michael and Phil Jones in their Peugeot 205 XS. Rounding off the Class A cars, Dale and Andrew Lawson were unexpectedly down the order after losing time with a slow puncher during the stage, which could blow the championship battle wide open. Miles Gleave and Jonathan Cragg were taking part in the Road Rally car class in their Peugeot 205, running 39th overall. Looks like there's a smiling face on William and Archie Cooper's MX-5, 2nd in class and 43rd overall. The attrition rate continued through the afternoon. Andrew Morris and Chloe Thomas would retire after this stage. Flying along in the lead of the rally, no one would finish stage 6 within 19 seconds of Frank Bird and Jack Morton. Frank showing why he's climbing the single-seater ladder, but there's always a career for him here in rallying. Chris West and Keith Hounslow had a minute lead in 2nd overall and Class D1, just needing to finish the day to claim a 2nd consecutive championship title. Joshua and Tamsin Davey had a 9-second lead in Class C, but still had time to fling their Darien around in the process. Let's join Sam in the paddock for more updates.
It's a little bit more challenging for a co-driver here than the rest of the round of the championship, isn't it? I mean, there's 8 splits on stage 3 and 4, wasn't there? How do you manage that?
It's been quite involved. I just have to make sure I tell him to go the right direction, really. I hope I don't get it wrong. I have to listen. So far, we've been doing all right. Yeah. So we're sort of 3rd in class at the moment. So 2 to go. So we did well in the wet. So we'll just keep pushing on, consolidate the place, get good championship points.
Well, we love watching your class because the battle between you, Ryan and Kathy is really, really good. I mean, Ryan has kind of got over his stage 1 issue and he was on it from the off this morning. Kathy's had a bit of an issue. You had a slight issue on the first stage, but all in all, this class...
First stage wasn't great for me. We just wanted to steal the march on it and I kind of ran out of talent once, as in we slid wide, nudged a tyre bale, stalled it, and I thought just to prove I could do that, I did it again. Excellent. So I did it twice on the first stage, yeah. But then we sorted ourselves, or I sorted myself out and got on with the job really. The championship's really difficult though because we've had a lot of bad luck this season, as you know. And without wishing ill of my colleagues over there, but I need one of them not to finish a rally, so we can get up there. You know, I think we're hovering at 3rd in class, but you know we need some bad luck for somebody else. Not that I'm going to wish that on anybody.
Thanks, Sam. And here it is after 6 stages. Class A, Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock, 4 minutes ahead of Craig Aston and Nick Baker in their Toyota. Another 13 seconds behind them is Adam and Ray Ripper in that Nissan Micra. On to Class B, and it's Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler still out in front in that Ford Escort Mark II, 37 seconds ahead of Ian Woodhouse and Bruce Lindsay in the Mazda MX-5. They'll be happy with that. Class C, Joshua and Tamsin Davey only 9 seconds ahead of Eric Roberts and Murphin Williams in their Ford Mark II Escort. Also Mike English and Andy Robinson in check on the podium. Chris West and Keith Hounslow 1 minute ahead in their 306 Maxi from Will and Leon Owen. Class D2, it's Frank Bird miles out in front with Jack Morton in the Ford Focus 2007 WRC. Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett are up next in their Focus WRC. Overall, 25-second lead for Frank Bird and Jack Morton. Can he do it? Well, Chris West and Keith Hounslow will be trying to keep that in check in their 306 Maxi Kit car. Stages 7 and 8 are as challenging as the previous 6, so everyone has to be on the ball. The competitors will take on the final 2 stages, each 5 miles in length. They'll do 2 laps around the old radar station and the circuit offices before doing half a lap around the track. The stages finish with 2 loops around the track nearest the pit lane and then over the line for a flying finish. Stage 7 started with drama in classes C, B and A as leaders Joshua and Tamsin Davey, Ryan Simpson and Mark Fowler, Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock all retired. Mechanical woes for the Darien, whilst the Corsa collected a tyre stack and had terminal steering damage, and the Class B Escort collected one of the stray tyres, also retiring. Frank Bird and Jack Morton continued to fly, pun intended, as they were a good 15 seconds quicker than anyone else for Stage 7. Frank really getting to grips with that Ford Focus WRC. Clearly, rallying's in the blood. Chris West and Keith Hounslow were still giving it their all, but looked increasingly set for second overall, but quickest in Class D1, which made it good for Chris to be champion once again. Will and Leon Owen were third overall, proving that you can just be quick in a Ford Escort as you would be in modern machinery. On board with Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett, who were fourth in their Ford Focus. Looking well hooked up through the corkscrew. Up to 5th overall and now leading Class C, Eric Roberts and Murphy Williams were having a fantastic run in their Escort, tail hanging out and giving it large. Second in Class C but quickest of the championship entrants was Mike English and Andy Robinson. And now leading Class B were former champion Ian Woodhouse and co-driver championship hopeful Bruce Lindsay. Taking over the lead of Class A were Craig Aston and Nick Baker in their Toyota Yaris, but they had just 5 seconds on Adam and Ray Ripper. Another big championship retirement as Ryan Connolly and Chris Allen pulled off the stage with mechanical woes. You can see what it meant to Ryan. Disaster.
So we are joined now with Ian Woodhouse and Bruce Lindsay. Ian Woodhouse, previous Motorsport News Circuit Rally champion in 2016-17 and current Michelin Cup winner. You're back out with us today. It's really good to have you. Something a little bit different. Yes, they were not quite used to seeing you in that. How's it been?
It's been a good day. It's been very, very different. It's completely different to the Escort to drive. It's like a little go-kart on the track. You can chuck it into the corners, but it's been really good trying to help this man get the points he needs for the championship.
Yeah, but it's really good to have you back, and it's been quite a challenging day for you as well, hasn't it? Because this as a circuit is completely different to anything else in the champion. There's a bit more for you to do, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, the splits and everything, it just sort of keeps you on the ball. I just said to him this morning, I said, I just need a finish and I can get some points, and that'll do. So we'll see how we go. We've one more stage to do.
Well, yeah, touch wood. Those championship points for you are looking really, really good, and it's so great to have you back. I mean, have you been watching the championship at all?
I've been watching it on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I've been following it. It's a good little championship. I hope to get out again next season.
On to the final stage of the day, and Frank Bird and Jack Morton romped to a dominant victory. All the more impressive as it's Frank's second ever rally, and he spent the previous 2 days in France testing his Formula Renault. This 11-year-old looking man clearly has bags of talent. Well in Frankie, lad. Spinning his Michelins off the line, Chris West finished second overall, quickest in Class D1, and in the process took his second consecutive Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship title. Keith Hounslow will be looking to take the co-driver honours at the final round. Third overall were Will and Leon Owen. On the pace throughout the day, they were poised to take advantage when others had misfortune. Absolutely committed to the cause around Anglesey. Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett were 4th overall, despite what was going to be quite a scary moment, not just for them, but for Chris West, nearly turboing them at the chicane. Luckily, that didn't cause any significant damage to their car. Rounding out the top 5 and victors in Class C were Eric Roberts and Murphy Williams, another pair who quietly did a very good job all day long. Sixth overall and second of the championship point scorers in D1 were Stephen and Jack Tilburn, despite a lack of familiarity with the venue. Third in Class D2 were Darren Meadows and James Squires in their Vivid Mitsubishi. They would actually set the second fastest time in Stage 8, but it wouldn't be good enough to catch Nigel Mummery. A great effort though. Kiro Carianti and Simon Coates had a good run throughout the day despite making some modifications to the front of the car by pushing a bit too far. Their Cayman seemingly well suited to this track. They'd finished 8th overall and second fastest in D1. Taking second in Class C, Andy Robinson and Mike English. Second in Class C, but first of the championship point scorers. They would finish the stage on exactly the same time as class winners Eric Roberts and Murphy Williams. Rounding out the top 10, Thomas Delaney and Brynmore Pierce in their fantastic looking Mini Cooper S. They stayed consistent all day to secure 5th in D1. Victory in Class B went to championship returnee Ian Woodhouse, helping Bruce Lindsay to get maximum co-driver championship points. They will come in very handy for when we go to Cadwell Park for the final round in April. Also going very well were Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish. They were second in Class B, picking up important points for their championship challenge. It's very close in the mid-pack, so every point helps. Grabbing the Class A victory on the final stage were Adam and Ray Ripper, overhauling Craig Aston and Nick Baker and setting things up for a massive showdown at Cadwell Park. They've gone well this year, so I can't wait to see how this battle ends. Over to Sam with the winners.
So this is your home turf, isn't it? This is your rally. You literally live just a couple of miles down the road. You've got to be pleased with the 3rd overall.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed actually with all the machinery there were today. I wasn't expecting nowhere near where I am today, to be honest with you. Top 5 would have been a dream for me really, because all the machinery was way over my budget, to be honest with you.
Well, we were talking earlier, I mean, we've had all 4 seasons. You know the circuit anyway, and you've got your brother alongside you keeping you, right?
Yeah. So the new bit was a bit tricky around all the gravel and the tops. Was a bit of a different for us today, so it was alright. We had a good day.
Our 2019 championship winner here now. He's retained the championship title. Well done. You've got a bit of a run for your money as well today, haven't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, it's really good to win the championship again. That's what we planned to do from the beginning again, really, and we have. You know, Mr. Birdie's in the right tool for the job today. It's been very slippy and just can't compete with a tool like that. So, you know, but we give it our all and we're here on the podium again. So I'm really pleased.
Absolutely. I mean, 2nd overall, you've got to be pleased with that. We've done so well all championship.
Yeah, with the cars that were here today, I know a few have dropped out, but yeah, it's a good result, really good result.
Massive congratulations, guys. I mean, you maybe didn't have the best of starts, stage 1, but you have been on it, literally on it, ever since then. You're the youngest team here as well, 19. It's the 2nd event that you've done in this car, and you've gone and won it. How does it feel?
I know, I can't quite believe it, really. First stage it didn't really go to plan, really, and I thought, well, the rest of the day wasn't going to go very well, but thanks to Jack, helped me out so much, and we won every stage since, so thanks to my dad, the team, and it's been a really good day. Loved it.
That is a massive, massive deal, that, to be literally setting the fastest stage times all day. I mean, Chris West has been quick all championship, but you've just been taking time out of him every single stage, and it's been hard work as a co-driver as well, hasn't it? But it's definitely not stopped you.
No, definitely not. It is a very, when you think of single venues, they tend to sometimes be quite easy for a quarter, but this place, there's so many splits and mergers and everything going on. There's quite a lot to keep your eye on and try and keep him right, but his 2nd ever rally in ever, and he goes and wins it. Is just a phenomenal start for his career, to be honest.
Let's check out the final results, and how close is that after a whole day's rallying? Adam and Ray Ripper take the win by just 7 seconds from Craig Aston and Nick Baker. It's disappointing that early leaders Dion Rowlands and Kai Alcock had to retire, but it did set up a great finish for us. In Class B, returning champion Ian Woodhouse takes the win, with co-driver Bruce Lindsay bagging some valuable extra championship points. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish are second in their Ford Fiesta, whilst Lee Pratt and Martin Pendlebury rounding out the top 3. Eric Roberts and Murphin Williams take the win in Class C, but it's Mike English and Andy Robinson taking maximum points in the championship with their second place. They finish ahead of the Honda Civic of Jason Wilson and Pete Fenner, and Nigel Greensall and James Proudfoot staging a late charge up the order to finish 5th. They've been there all day, so it's no surprise that the Class D1 winners are Chris West and Keith Hounslow. This result securing the title once again for Chris, so huge congratulations to you, mate. Will and Leon Owen are second, with Stephen and Jack Tilburn in third. Taking a convincing win in D2 though were Frank Bird and Jack Morton. They were in the mix from the get-go, and they were able to pick up the pieces when both Ford Fiestas of Peter and Guy Smith retired. A great result for the 19-year-old, and second were Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett in their Ford Focus WRC. So to the overall results, and it's D2 runner Frank Bird and Jack Morton who take the win by just over a minute from newly crowned champion Chris West. Will and Leon Owen are third in front of Nigel Mummery and Fiona Scarrett. Top Class C runners were Eric Roberts and Murphin Williams. In the Michelin Cup, it's Chris West from Mike Taylor, who had a good run here, but Ryan Connolly will be massively disappointed to miss out on a finish, as he's gunning for a good result in this championship. A finish for him would have vaulted him right up the order. There he is, Chris West, 2019 champion, with an unassailable lead of 412 points. And next up, his co-driver Keith Hounslow. Had he not missed the opening round, it would have been a done deal for Keith. He's going to have to wait until Cadwell to secure second. Nipping on his heels though is Simon Coates, only 24 points behind. Loads to play for. See you at Cadwell.